After Roshi told the boys to hold his turtle shell and showed them what getting their letters in the turtle hermit school would really mean, no more punches were pulled and Goku and Krillin's training with the undefeated of the East began in earnest. And I gotta be real with you homies, if there's one thing I live for in this world, it's a training montage, and Akira Toriyama sensei did anything but disappoint in this regard. The boys' first test on the way of the turtle hermit was unorthodox to say the least. With both the students' attention, the old master picked up a rock, upon which he scribed the turtle hermit insignia, and after giving the boys a good look at it, chucked that thing like he was doing his best Jalen Hurts impersonation directly into the foliage. Then he looked upon Goku and Krillin and told them their next test had already begun. Their next challenge would be a scavenger hunt, and the boys had 30 minutes to find that rock and bring it back to them, or neither one of their vertically challenged asses would be getting dinner that night. To Goku, this was a fate worse than death, so he headed off into the woods immediately, diving headfirst off the cliffside with less care for his physical well-being than Forky from Toy Story to begin his search.
And then the trash!
Krillin, knowing his inner crash out was nowhere near that developed, took another route, asking to borrow a pen from a mildly racist looking black lady, from which he then used to scribe the turtle hermit signature and head back to Roshi. Roshi examined the rock for a few seconds and immediately sent that thing skipping off Krillin's dome piece, knowing damn well that wasn't his rock, and if he tried some nonsense like that again, he'd lose by default. And so the rat race ensued, with Krillin heading to the forest floor and doing his best to con the naive Goku out of his progress, stealing the meal ticket directly out of Goku's hands after lying through his teeth, saying he just wanted to see it and make sure it was the real thing. Then this man Krillin proceeded to Looney Tunes his way to the Kame house, demolishing a bridge just to make sure Goku couldn't catch up, only to find out Goku's gag manga lineage was far stronger than his. This ultimately led to a standoff where the two started squaring up, and it took seconds for Krillin to realize that this was a bad idea before he was giving up that rock right when Goku was about to put his Jet Li 13s through his solar plexus. That is until right before handing the rock off, he chucked it into the stratosphere, leading Goku to go searching in panic. Turns out that bastard Krillin threw a decoy and came smiling up to the Kame house with the real thing, being declared the winner of the challenge and winning dinner. Fate wasn't completely cruel though, because as luck would have it, Launch's home cooking could not be trusted, and Roshi as well as Krillin spent the next 3 days in damn near a coma while Goku was big chillin' due to that prize. Before the next phase of training, we get a brief glimpse into the slice of life experience, as it's revealed that Launch has found herself being bedmates with young Goku due to him being the only male in the house being remotely eligible to sleep safely in bed with. As Roshi goes to wake little man up, he inadvertently gets Launch up too, who then begins blaming off on the both of them like it's Goku's fault she decided to gamble on a statutory charge and risk it all to be his big spoon. Goku reaches into his Ike Turner bag though and puts her to sleep thoroughly, tattooing his foot directly to her forehead in no mood for the nonsense. And right before Roshi can pull out the baby oil on the sleeping Launch, Goku asks what's on the menu, and the next phase of he and Krillin's training begins. Roshi attempts to impart the philosophy of the turtle hermit way to both Krillin and Goku, but YN Kakarot has never been one for the heady philosophy, so he moves right in around 2, getting the boys' cardio up so that they are worthy to handle the teachings of the Kame Sennin. And just like the dad you've still been waiting to come back for all these years, this lesson would involve going out for milk. But this was no ordinary milk delivery. Roshi had these little runs moving all up and down Kami's green pasture relentlessly, with any form of slowdown being met with a sturdy cane to the testicles, so you would think twice about breathing wrong ever again. Their milk delivery took them atop a mountain inhabited by a benevolent monk, and after giving Goku a quick lesson in manners, Roshi informed the man that he indeed had taken on 2 new pupils, and if all went well, they would be entering the Tenkaichi Budokai in its next round. Goku had no idea while Roshi was talking about itchy ball sacks, but Krillin translated the master's words for him, and Goku entered his training with a renewed vigor. Everything they were going through now would be more than worth it if it meant being able to meet up with really strong guys if they could get their crap together in the next 8 months. After narrowly finishing their milk deliveries, the next stage of their training began. This time the boys would be tending the fields. But oh no, that wasn't enough on its own. Roshi wanted to make sure these boys got the full transatlantic slave trade experience, so they'd be plowing the fields by hand. After the boys worked the fields as hard as they could, Roshi treated them both to big dinner, and then it was time for a study session, because an expert fighter needs to be strong intellectually as well as physically. Then after that, it was time for a nap, which introduces us to Roshi's famous philosophy for working hard, studying hard, and eating and sleeping plenty. That is the nature of the Kame Sennin style. But the rest didn't last long, as it was right back to manual labor directly after the nap. After the job was finished though, the boys began growing impatient and they asked Roshi directly to teach them some fighting moves. The hermit positively hawked to it at the idea, disgusted that hatchlings would even propose such a thing so early into their training. That's when Roshi committed to an exhibition, moving a large boulder with his bare hands to exhibit what they'd be capable of when their time was up. This would have been fantastic if it was anybody but Goku he was flexing to. Cause tell me why in the same breath, Goku got his little stocky torso next to that thing and pushed it back a good 30 meters to show he was ready for the next stage. Roshi damn near threw up, quickly adjusting on the fly and assuring them that small feat of strength was light work, and it was actually their ability to move this damn near mountain standing next to them that would properly assess whether they were ready to move on. The next few training exercises, I'm convinced, were just pure child abuse straight up. Roshi had these little fellas swimming in shark-infested waters, tying them up to a tree and having them avoid bee stings mid-flight. All this in one day, mind you. By the time they got back to Kame House that evening, they were out here looking like that beat-up Martin JPEG while Roshi stared them down triumphantly. But the good news wasn't over, because Roshi gave them the heads up that in the next few months, they'd be completing this daily schedule of rocking 20-kilogram shells on their back. Little fellas must have forgot they call him the turtle hermit out here. And it was in this fashion that the next few months were spent. Roshi had these little heathens working their ass off day in and day out, delivering milk, plowing fields, running from dinosaurs, and in the beginning, there was a real feeling of hopelessness. But as time progressed and they trusted the process, without recognizing it, those turtle shells on their back became lighter and lighter till they barely noticed them anymore. Then one day, as Roshi was enjoying a meal at lunch, the boys summoned that old man outside. They had something they needed to show him and he couldn't wait. When he made it outdoors, the boys excitedly showed him a gigantic rock. Unsure why they seemed so excited about this, they informed him that they could now move that thing and they needed him to see it. That's when all his memories came flooding back, remembering that offhand comment he made about teaching them to fight when they can move that impenetrable fortress of a rock. As he stared in horror, first the caveman Goku stepped up and, gritting his teeth, visibly began to move the landmass a few inches forward. Then Krillin followed suit, proving that he too could now move it, meaning that they were now officially ready to throw hands. What they heard next, though, shocked them to their core. Roshi, without a smidgen of humor, informed them that there was really nothing to teach them about the martial arts. The basics of his style are found in the torturous work he's been putting them through for the last few months. Whether they know it or not, their eyes, fists, legs, and mind have become razor sharp through the repetition of this daily routine. Learning to fight is just applying these skills they have built in the right way. Roshi contends that the way of the martial arts is not lying winning, but rather striving not to lose. So to achieve this outcome, they must take the foundation they achieved from his oversight, meditate, and learn the method of fighting that makes the most sense to them. Y'all, I got so much I want to say about this little moment with Roshi, but I'll try not to get too long-winded. Basically, Roshi's teachings align very much with the long-regarded battlefield wisdom coming from things like the art of war, as well as the teachings of Miyamoto Musashi in the Book of Five Rings. The truth or the way is not found through copying the instructions of others. True mastery only comes when one has made great strides, observed, and walked the path themselves and have reflected on these experiences, leading to the development of a style not bogged down by worldly obstacles like tradition and aesthetics, but a way of acting that is pure, allowing one to move and behave in the way that the moment calls for, rather than what some master said to do or not to do. And here, homies, with Roshi's wisdom is where we'll call it. Tune in next time as the boys' training come to an end and the World Martial Arts Tournament gets underway. Will Goku and Krillin be able to stand a chance against the competition, or are they still 10 years too early to measure up against the world's strongest? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all, and see you again in the next video.